Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Salt Lake City, home of the Salt Lake Bees. And we welcome you to Draft Headquarters, where tonight we're going to do the task of tasks. We are going to draft Major League Baseball's greatest players to 12 of Minor League Baseball's best franchises, minor league franchises. The teams that are here today drafting are the Buffalo Bisons, the Durham Bulls, the Gwinnett Stripers, the Indianapolis Indians, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, the Lehigh Iron Pigs, the Nashville Sounds, the Omaha Storm Chasers, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, the St. Paul Twins, the Toledo Mudhens, and the Worcester Red Sox. Those represent the top four teams in the American League's minor league division. Fortunately, the teams that played in the over in the National League, like the Dodgers, the Bees, stuff like that, did not make the cut. I decided just to take the 12 teams from the minor league Eastern Division, and we're going to go ahead and do a super quick, very nasty draft of all the Major League Baseball players. We're not going to do one by one. There's no way I'm going to draft every player and try to find positions. And so I have a much players I hope I have in here. We're going to draft 40 players, 20 hitters, and 20, and also 20 pitchers a size. That's 40 times 12. So you're looking about over 500 of Major League Baseball's players. Random generator teams up here, if I can pull it up, and then we'll use that to draft our teams today also. So let me just use this as a so I can look at the teams that are in here today. So I can go ahead and put them in here. Please come on in. Again, we'll be using the STRAT PC as our engine today to help out with the draft processes. Then once that is done, we will be playing, I believe, almost a 3 games each versus each division. So again, you'll be looking at least 11 games, 66 game schedule as you play 3 versus 3 on that one. So I always find these new teams that have come up and gave them these nicknames are just sometimes laughable. As you look at the team representing the Miami Marlins, like I said earlier in this preview, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. That's right, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Okay. Well, that should be a good one. Watch Barry Bonds or something go to that team. We'll see who gets drafted first, and then we will go ahead and see who will do that. You can set this draft up for teams that go in a different division or different type of mindset. They want to go speed. I can always roll for that one or do a random setting. So I might do a random setting for these guys too to see how we do it. I put all 12 teams in my randomizer. I'm out to go ahead and hit the draft, and let's see who will get number one pick to probably get Barry Bonds as their first pick. And it will be, as we ran picks, and it looks like the number one pick will go to the Durham Bulls as the number one franchise to the Tampa Bay Rays. So they will get number one pick, followed by the Omaha, Nashville Sound, St. Paul, followed by Scranton, Lehigh, Worcester, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Toledo, and Gwinnett will get the old wraparound pick. You'll get a serpentine draft. Again, these draft picks will take about a couple minutes. I'll run the entire draft real quick, and then we'll take a look at each team and each card, kind of take a look and see which team will kind of have the edge. And then you'll have some games coming up on the channel probably the next day or two after I configure all the lineups, probably do a random lineups, random rotations on our teams today. So let's go ahead. What you do is right click on your league there. You go to league, and I believe what we're going to do is, no, actually my fault. Let's get away from there. Sometimes when you're teaching something, you forget how to do it. So go under player at the top of the screen, then you go to draft-o-matic, and then the teams are set up the way They're set up the way they are on the screen. So actually, we'll go ahead and now use my draft-o-matic screen that I have here. If anybody, yep, I got a couple of people kind of lingering about. Please come in if you have any interesting things you want to put in. Actually, I didn't put the 5-minute thing on my guests. I may have to go back in and change that. So it'll be Durham, Omaha, Nashville, and St. Paul. Let's go ahead and get them set up. So it will be. Oh, let's see. So do the. Hang on one moment. I hear Omaha. So Omaha, and that will be St. Paul as 3. So Nashville, St. Paul, Scranton. So Nashville will be Nashville Sounds, St. Paul, and then Scranton will be the 5th pick, and then it'll be Lehigh, Worcester, and Indianapolis. So there'll be Lehigh, the Iron Pigs, the Philadelphia team, and then it will be Worcester and Indianapolis. Of course, Worcester is the new home of the Red Sox, and then Indianapolis, longtime home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So after Indianapolis will be Buffalo, Jacksonville, Toledo. So let's see, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Toledo. Gwinnett getting a wraparound pick. So let's do randomized strategies. You'll see my screen in front of me, and they'll all be auto. So we'll do randomized strategy. We'll do that. So Durham will be balanced. Omaha balanced. Now St. Paul. Now Nashville says they're going to look for on base and speed. St. Paul will go for pitching and defense. We'll see how quickly they get their pitching. Scranton will favor pitching and defense. Kind of want to see them go power. Lehigh will be emphasized power. Worcester will go pitching and defense. Indianapolis will go balanced strategy. Buffalo will go for on base and speed. Jacksonville will go for balanced strategy. Toledo will go for balanced strategy. And Gwinnett will go for emphasized power. Okay, we're all set here. Again, we were going to go serpentine. So we'll go click on that. Then you want to go 40 rounds. I've done this a couple times, so I should have enough players. 20 max batters, 20 max pitchers. Once we hit OK, then it starts flying by. It's gonna sit and drag and almost look like it's gonna crash. So we'll let the game do what it's gonna do. And hopefully, once it gets to the end, we'll take a look at all the teams. Maybe some players are still kind of got snubbed. And then we'll take a look at some of the options that we're gonna do. Okay, we'll be playing in advance. So no ball needed, no super advanced. We do advanced dealing, as I've been playing that with the cards and dice, and I kind of like how I do that also. No team will have an advantage playing in a particular ballpark. So Durham with the number 1 pick, and he comes up to the commissioner and hands it to him. We're almost betting it's going to be Barry Bonds, 2001, 71 home runs should go to him. Then Omaha will be 2, and you might see the 1920 Babe Ruth come off the clock. We'll go ahead and analyze every team's picks and where they chose them. Are we ready to go before we get started? Let's see if there's anything else here in chat. Hey guys, let's do this. Let's hit the button and let's go ahead and draft Major League Baseball's greatest players to 12 of minor league's greatest franchises. And we'll see who ends up on whose team. Let's do this. 1, 2, and 3. And there it is. Oh, no room for remaining players. Wow, that was quick. Let's see what happened here. Let's continue the draft here. Hang on. Why did I just have a crash? So let's see what happens. And wow. I never seen a draft take 2 seconds before. Okay, well that's good. I never seen the draft take 2 seconds before, but we're done. And let's go ahead and maybe look at the teams. Boy, I've seen the game fly by in a draft concept before, and it always crashes or always gets in the middle, but never done this. So I guess we're all set. So we'll take a look at every team. So let's take a look. So the first pick of the draft went to we're going alphabetical order. We'll go to the Buffalo Bisons. They are the representatives of the Toronto Blue Jays. And we'll take a look at the promote minor league screen. That usually chooses who they chose first. Their number 1 pick was Ty Cobb. Second was again a position of necessity. Joe Mauer, number 3 going to the Buffalo Bisons, is Carl Yastrzemski. He's playing his 1970 card. I kind of like that card a little bit over his Triple Crown year of 67. Seems like a lot more powers on there. Fourth pick went Willie McCovey stretch, so they may have a log jam out there. Yastrzemski and McCovey. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki. Second baseman Robbie Cano. Outfielder Chuck Klein. Third baseman, first baseman Miguel Cabrera. Ooh, I got two Yastrzemskis. Sometimes I forget to go back and kill double players, so they may have to choose an extra player in a minute. That sucks. They choose two Yaz's in the first 9 picks. That's my fault. Then you got Elston Howard. You can see a platoon. That is Elston Howard's unbelievable monster year against lefties. So he may get the red light there to play. Phil Rizzuto's a shortstop, probably on the bench. Ralph Kiner is the DH league. You can see Kiner maybe getting the DH spot here. Second, third baseman Tony pull him up Lazzari. Kiki Kyler, talking a sneaky pick for Buffalo. Kiki Kyler's year, 642 at bats, hit 355 and a 967 OPS and a 9.8 WAR. Carlos Pena from the hometown Devil Rays, 282, 46 home runs, 1.00. Paul Goldschmidt was a nice pick out of 1.06. Talking about having backups at your positions, Will Clark. So they got a lot of first basemen here. Bill Freehan as a backup catcher, Mark Grace, and then they got Al Lopez. Their first pitcher in the draft, Clayton Kershaw. So Clayton Kershaw was the first one. Billy Wagner was their second one, so they went to their bullpen early. Oral Hershiser from 1988. And then they went to Don Wilson on the 71 Astros. Then they went Mark Melicon of the 2003 Pirates. So again, a bullpen. Johnny Cueto, 9-8, 2.31 ERA, 2011 Reds. Bobby Parnell, 5-5, 2.16 ERA. Al Lopez from the Aurelio Lopez from the 79 Tigers. That is Cliff Lee from the 2013 Reds, and Mel Stottlemyre from the 73. I'm not going to go over everyone. I'll give some options here. Let's see if we got anybody else here. Hey, D. Scott Howard, welcome again. Welcome aboard. Thank you for coming. As I like to have here, please join me in chat tonight as I'm kind of going over these super teams right now. And then we'll go ahead and kind of take a look at some other options here. Let's look at the number 1 pick, Durham Bulls, and I'm assuming that is where you're going to find Mr. Barry Bonds. Let's look at the draft report. That's a little bit easier to pick up, and we can kind of do that. And yeah, Bonds was their number 1 pick. It was Bonds, Hidalgo, and Stargell in the outfield with Bryce Harper, Richard. Again, it was Mel Ott and Jack Clark. And the catching will be Chris Hoyles, considered to be the highest ranked catcher in this draft. He had a 1.1. He had a huge WAR that gave him a big advantage. But again, he's gonna have some problems with that bats. He's not a full year catcher. But then look who they drafted, Mickey Cochran. So that'll be interesting to see. Then they got Dick Dietz and Jason Kendall. At first base is Todd Helton, Jim Fregosi, Rod Carew, Travis Hafner, and then he got Joe Judge. At second base is Ryan Sandberg, Rod Carew, and Ian Kinsler. So loaded positions there. And at third base, they went Aurelio Rodriguez and Archie Vaughn. Vaughn's more of a shortstop, so Vaughn will probably play short since their shortstop was Fregosi. And let's take a look at some of their pitching here. Let's look at their starting pitching first of all. They went Ron Guidry. Lefties will get roughed up in this league. That could be a mistake. Don Drysdale, Don Sutton, Felix Hernandez, Jack Billingham, and then they went Big Game Shields, Mike Minor, Chris Archer, and Zimmerman. And now let's take a look at some of their relievers. They went for Jansen, Benoit, Rivera, Drysdale, Cecil, Campbell, and Jones. So here let's look at closers. Again, it's going to be Jansen, Benoit, Rivera, and Campbell. So 2 quality closers in Kensley Jansen and Mariano Rivera. Cutters galore from these teams. So that is your team from the Durham Bulls. The Gwinnett Stripers, remember, they had what was called the wraparound pick. If you ever do a draft, they got the pick, and then they got the double pick at the end. I kind of had to learn that in my when I did my own drafting, different things. I had to learn what different things meant. And look who got around to the first pick. I think it was Lou Gehrig. It says the catchers were Javi Lopez, Lance Parrish, Roger Bresnan, Napoli, and Smokey Burgess. So pretty good catchers. First baseman, can't go wrong there. Gehrig, um, McGriff, and Dick Allen. So then he has second baseman of Utley and Dorr. Third baseman is Rosen, Boggs, and Allen. They can go anywhere there with players. Shortstop will be Miguel Tejada and Vern Stevens. The outfielders, they have good ones. Stan Musial, George Foster, and then they had Matty Alou, Goose Goslin, and they also had Babe Herman and Reggie Smith. So about 4 or 5 outfielders. A lot of others who can play outfield, but I prefer them not to. But they have good 5 outfielders. They have they have like an over 1,000 OPS team on offense, 406 slugging, and 406 on base, and 594 slugging. So yeah, they'll be good. Pitching staff, 3.22 ERA. Their starters, let's look at their starters. The number one starter is going to be Denny McClain, followed by Phil Niekro, Max Scherzer, Mickey Lolich, Chris Medlin. They also had Charlie Morton, Gary Nolan, Justin Masterson, Justin Verlander, Cole Hamill. So they got starters. That's not going to be a problem for this team. So Gwinnett actually drafted pretty well. Closers are going to be Eric Gagne from the Dodgers when that unbelievable season he had. Raleigh Eastwick and Glenn Perkins. Again, that is the Gwinnett Stripers. Again, we're going to play about 3 games each, home and away, against all these guys. You'll probably have a total of about 66 games. Before we do that, let's go ahead and maybe get the scheduling so we can take a look at what's ahead of us for this new computerized league we're going to be doing. Again, we'll do a schedule maintenance on this. Very nicely done, can be done. And then we'll go ahead and generate a new schedule. There's 12 teams, so we want to play 11-6, so we want to play 66 games. Keep everything else the same. Hit OK. If you're right, it should be 3 and 3s across the board. It is, so every team plays 66 games, 3 home and 3 road. So we'll go ahead and do that. New schedule has been made. So here it is. Here is our new schedule. The first week schedule has Durham at Gwinnett. The Jumbo Shrimp get out of the fryer and go to Worcester, Massachusetts. The Omaha Storm Chasers go to Nashville. The Lehigh Iron Pigs go to Toledo. The Indianapolis Indians go to Scranton. And St. Paul goes to Buffalo. So that looks like a nice schedule there we'll have. So that's good to get that going. Let's continue our teams here. And we'll go to Indianapolis, again, a Pittsburgh Pirate franchise, and we'll kind of see who they kind of drafted early on and see how they did. I'm going to go back. You know what? I was looking at different options how we can do this. So we'll again buy this one. Their number one pick in the offense was Larry Walker, recently in the Hall of Fame. Is that going to be? I believe that's Albert Bell of the Indians. Let's see. Yep, it's Albert Bell, 1994. Ken Griffey Jr., that's right, D. Scott Howard. Ken Griffey Jr., known as the Kid, 1997 Seattle Mariners. Hank Greenberg, 1938. Ernie Banks, 1959. He gets the shot at shortstop. And then we got Miggy Cabrera, 2013. Mike Lieberthal gets the start. He's a 5-out and a super dangerous bat against left-handed pitching. Bobby Grich, the 1979 California Angels. Well, he may get the nod at second. Ted Kluszewski will be one of the men who can get some DH spots. He's a 4R, so he clubs right-handed pitching. 1954. Roy Campanella, 1950. So Campy could be the equivalent of where Lieberthal is, but they both hit lefties. So I don't know how that'll work. I'll have to figure that one out. Freddie Lindstrom is a third baseman. Is he the only third baseman so far? No, with Miggy. Miggy can either play first or third, so we'll see who wants to move over there. And then you got from the St. Louis Brown, George Watkins. He's a lefty guy who smashes righties. Travis Jackson of the New York Giants. He's a 2R shortstop, 1E42. George Grantham from the 1930 Pirates. Chick Haffey from the 30 Cardinals. And that was Mo Vaughn of the 96 Red Sox. And then you got Andres Galarraga from the 93 Colorado. Johnny Mize from the 36 St. Louis. Their number one pick was from the Detroit Tigers, 1946, Hal Neuheiser. Then they got Greg Maddux. Greg Holland was their first reliever. And Max Scherzer, Gene Garber, Madison Bumgarner from the Toronto Blue Jays, Colby Jansen, so a closer. And then Yu Darvish. Also bullpen guys are Sean Doolittle, Bob Stanley, and some others. So good job there for Indianapolis so far on the clock as we continue on. What I'm doing, John, is actually, these are just, a lot of these games in Stratomatic PC, you can actually make your own players, and I've done that. I just did that with Rogers Hornsby today, because if you go up and Google Stratomatic 365, that's one of their draft incarnation leagues. If you get one credit, you can visit their entire draft library, and you can literally see cards that Stratomatic has, or you can buy their Stratomatic app, which is $5 a month, and you can literally make cards inside the Stratomatic. But what I suggest, and this is because of past what I've done, you have to create a fringe player first, and then you can put the exact year you're making, and then once you make the fringe stats, then you go back and you update the player, and then you actually update the actual player's card. So you literally can make any players you want in a league like this. This is actually going to be, I own everything on the computer from 1968 to almost current. I did not get last year's season, decided not to, because of the pandemic and the split season and the crap like that. I'm interested this year with the new 86 and stuff like that, and also with some other stuff going on there. That definitely has an interest of mine coming up. You know, when taxes come and stuff like that, that might be one of the first things I invest in. So yes, any questions, please go on and ask them. I'm going through the teams here, who they have number one picks, and their representative. Again, this was an auto draft. Let's now go to one of the funniest teams on the market. That's right, your Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. And they're the representatives of the Miami Marlins. Again, let's go ahead and go to promote minor leagues. So you go there, and then you get this big screen you can look at. And guess who goes to the Jumbo Shrimp? A perfect name, Mr. Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth using the 1920 card with a 1.377 OPS. Probably one of the finest cards besides the Bonds card ever made. So Ruth gets number one pull there, so they have to be happy about their catch, literally. First baseman Norm Cash from 1961. The 1980 George Brett. This team is stocked. 1.18 OPS from Mr. Brett. Luis Gonzalez from 2001 Arizona. Brady Anderson from 1996 Baltimore. J-Roll, Jimmy Rollins, 2007 MVP from the Phillies. Charles Johnson, 2000. He's a 1-2 arm. He's a quality catcher, can bash righties. Charlie Gehringer gets this late in the draft. Talking about a nice pull for the Jacksonville team. 16 homers, 98 RBIs, hit 330, 932 OPS. Eddie Matthews gets a spot at third base. He can split time with Brett if you want, because Brett is a 6R. J.D. Drew, 2004 Atlanta. That's 31 home runs, 93 RBIs. Darren Dalton with 500 at-bats, 27 homers, 109 at-bats. He's a 3E1, so he'll be a good extra catcher there. Paul Molitor, 1987 Milwaukee, 353, 16 home runs, 1.002 OPS. Dave Justice, 97 Cleveland, 33 home runs. Good year there. Nellie Fox at shortstop. Hammer and Hank Aaron late in the draft. 47 homers, 118 RBIs using 1971. Edgar Martinez is a DH league, so a 356 average, 1.107 OPS. That's right. This is an offensive bashing season. Tony Gwynn, 600 at bats, hit 394 in 1994. And will he find a place in that lineup? Top pitcher, of course, Pedro Martinez. They got one of the top pitchers in baseball. So who knows? You may have sellout crowds in Jacksonville watching this team win the pennant with one of the best hitters in the draft. Now you get the best pitcher in the draft, the 2000 Pedro, 18 and 6, 1.74 ERA. He has 11.8 strikeouts an inning, 200 a game, 284 strikeouts in 217 innings. He only walked 32. He's a 3L, and he is nasty. They also got Joe Nathan as the first closer, and they got Matt Harvey in his young days with the Mets, so he has given 180 innings. Earl Blackwell of the Cincinnati Reds, 261 innings, so that will be quality for him. They also got, yes, Mariano Rivera. I think he's on two different teams. We have to look at that now. Sid Fernandez, 1985, another 170 innings. Arlotis Chapman, so boy, did they stock up on some relievers. Was that Jose Valverde? Again, another guy. They got a ton of saves out of these guys. And Sanchez, 2.57 from the 13 Tigers. Another reliever in Addison Reed. Boy, they are just stocking up on relievers. Hope they have enough starters. Irvin Santana, 11 and 3, 2.76 ERA. Tim Hudson, only 131 innings, 8 and 7, 3.97. Kind of could use more innings out of Huddy there. Another, boy, they have stocked up and took closers. Jonathan Papelbon, Sergio Romo, Mike Henneman. So they are hoping they have, or they pitch 5 innings, get their starter out of there, and then put all your closers in and just lock everything down. That might be the Kansas City Royals approach from 2015. But it looks like they have at least 3 or 4, or they also have Zach Greinke from 2013. Again, not a lot of innings, about 6 starter innings. And then you got Pedro. So we'll see how this team makes out. But offensively, they look stocked. Pitching, they look pretty good. And that is your Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Now let's go to the Lehigh Iron Pigs. They're a Philadelphia Phillies franchise. They got drafted in. For most part, I have, yes. And NCAA, you're looking at my different leagues. My NCAA baseball, yeah, they're mostly franchise teams. If you do MLB baseball reference, you can do, or anything actually. You can do alumni for NCAA baseball. You'll get basically, I can pull everyone down by at bats, and I have the different rosters and different great rosters of all time. And I can kind of make the best teams too, but I have enough players to do that with them. I think I made 32 different college teams that I could do, different leagues I've taken. Taken players to photos every league. I try to make sure they match, but it just depends on what my options are, what I'm looking to do with the league. So here is the Lehigh Iron Pigs. We'll take a look at their team. Their number 1 pick was Rogers Hornsby, followed by Mark McGuire. Hack Wilson still holds the modern-day record, 56 home runs, 191 RBIs that season. Frank Robinson, Harmon Killebrew. Let's see, Kevin Mitchell, Todd Hundley, Robin Yount, Jim Thome, Billy Williams, Tony Perez, Joe Gordon, Buster Posey's great year. And he had a 9L season. Look at the card. 24 homers, 103 RBIs, hit 336. Harold Baines gets a shot here as a Hall of Famer, of course. Pee Wee Reese, Joey Votto, Brian McCann, Victor Martinez, and Matt Noakes. Number 1 starter, Smokey Joe Wood. And also along with him, the franchise, number 41, Tom Seaver. And also from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Kenzie Jansen, Mark Fidrich, Steve Cishek, would be Jerry Kuzman, and let's see who they have here as starters. Dan Petrie from the 85 Tigers, and let's see, Red Ruffing, that's a nice pick from the 1936 Yankees. Bartolo Colon from the 2013 Oakland. Lance Lynn, also from 2013 St. Louis. They got some inning guys. They get them through, and they also got some strong bullpen. So not a bad team so far for your Lehigh Iron Pigs. So now let's go to the Nashville Sounds, and we'll take a look at them. Their number one pick in the bats was Napoleon Lajoie. Also, the second pick was Freddie Lynn. The third baseman was Mike Schmidt. Derek Lee, a first baseman catcher. They saw him go earlier, but Jonathan Bench. Also, third baseman, shortstop, Rico Patricelli. Probably shortstop with Schmidt there. Jose Batista. He can be a strange kind of. No, he wouldn't play third. I'm saying he could be traded to a team that needs a third baseman. He's a 3.14 at third on a season where he had a 1.055 OPS. He would not hurt you in third base and give you an awesome year. Kind of something you could look at when you play. And then you got this left and center for the Brian Giles. Always had some fantastic years for the Pirates in the early 2000s. He had 1.072 OPS, 38 home runs. Ricky Henderson thought he'd go sooner, to be honest, at teams. He was like he went about the ninth round. 325, 28 home runs. He's a 1. He's also a double A and will steal a ton, and he'll be in someone's leadoff spot as a 1E9. Tim Salmon, does he go with Mike Trout? I don't think so. Honus Wagner. Wow, that's another Honus Wagner. I guess we got to make sure there's not double Wagners here somewhere. He would probably get dropped. Wagner got chosen early on. So again, I have to look back at some of these teams and see if hopefully I got a shortstop. I think I do. So Willie Randolph, Jimmy Fox. Boy, Jimmy Fox picked down the road. 47 home runs, 1.02 ERA. I could see him getting more shots over, let's say, Derek Lee from the Chicago Cubs. And then you got Darrell Porter, Gil Hodges, Donnie Mattingly, Donnie Baseball. Had that 31 home runs, 113 RBIs, hit 352. Rich Gedman, Bill Dickey, 1928, another great catcher to have along. Ray Schock, Pat Borders. Their number one pick, that's right, the god of left-handers, Sandy Koufax, along with Bucky Walters, the Doc, Roy Halladay, Adam Wainwright, and Whitey Ford are the top 5 starters. Get a couple lefties there. They can really get wrecked in this league. They can send some of these lefties to retirement. I've seen lefties get ruined in all-star competition before just because of righties. They don't see a lot of lefties normally, so when they get the low usage against left-handed pitching, they destroy them. And the cards are just that filthy on some of them. Look at, like I said, look at that Buster Posey card from 2012. Here is the Omaha Storm Chasers, one of my favorite franchises teams. Their number one pick coming out was the Mickey Mantle. Along with his catcher will be Ivan Rodriguez Pudge. First baseman will be Albert Pujols. Third baseman will be Ken Caminiti. Outfielder will be the son of Vlad, Vladimir Guerrero, Vlad the Impaler. That'll be Josh Hamilton from the 2010 Texas Rangers. Always loved his story. Alan Trammell, the shortstop. Craig Biggio at second base. Miguel Tejada, that's Mark Teixeira at 2005 Rangers at first. He's a 1, but with Pujols there, no, you won't be getting a start over him. Sorry, Mark. And it'll be Matt Holliday is a 3 and left, so probably one of the starting outfielders. Ron Santo, Omar Vizquel, the captain, Thurman Munson, Earl Averill, David Ortiz, probably looking for a DH spot in this league, and I can see him getting it. Again, you got Adrian Gonzalez. That will be Martin from the Russell Martin Dodgers, Sandy Alomar, Ray Fosse, and Bo Diaz. A lot of these teams picked up a lot of extra catchers. Their number one pitcher, again, could that be a double here? Could be Clayton Kershaw. Then they got Smoltz. They got Wade Hoyt. They got Clay Buchholz. They got, from the Tigers, Bridges. Then they got Don Gullett, Pascual Perez. So pretty good starters here. Corey Kluber, and that's not even one of his better years, probably. So again, now we got that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more teams to come. Let's see how we're doing on our chat so far. Yeah, please, going. So yeah, Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that coming in. D. Scott Howard, if you're still here, thank you for being here with me. John Wise, thank you for coming in. Again, I want to take a look at some of these teams that may have some dupes on there and see what I'm going to do. Now, the New York Yankee franchise, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. So let's take a look at them. Their number one pick was Jeff Bagwell, talking about a monster year versus left-handed pitching. Oh my God! Just his year, he would have won. He would have won home run, RBI. He possibly could have won the Triple Crown this season if '94 baseball had concluded. He was a 9L like Posey, but his card was even better than Posey. Talking about a guy who just salivates when he sees a lefty come there. You ever watch the old Bugs Bunny commercial, Bugs Bunny shows, Fresh Meat. And that's how Bagwell sees lefties. He's on the same team as Ted Williams, and that's in 1941. That's two monsters right there. Joe Morgan, Sammy Sosa from 2001, Chipper Jones, and then what? Who's on the same team as Ted Williams? Can you say Joe DiMaggio, 357, 30, 125. Then he got Henley Henley Ramirez, 24, 106 when he was a shortstop. Gary Carter did get some shots behind the plate, but that's when he was an Expo in 82. Lance the Puma Berkman getting some time, 34, 128. Frankie Frisch, second baseman and third baseman, can see him getting some time there. Carlos Delgado got first base. Jorge Posada, he'll be one of the catchers here. Harry Howman, Ozzie Smith, Jason Giambi, Prince Fielder, John Olerud, Rico Cardi, Keith Hernandez, and Mike McFarland. For the National League pitchers, their number one pitcher, they got the Miami Fish, Jose Fernandez, only 173 innings. Then they can go with James Rodney Richard, Paul Derringer. Then they can go with Steven Strasburg. And let's see, they got Righetti. Nope, he was a closer. And now you got the dig. Mike, it looks like Matt Latos could be a fifth starter. Matt Moore, 3.29 in 2013. Nolasco was 2013. Now then they got I thought they got the real sick Fernando Rodney, but no, he goes they got another year of him. Why that one? The other one wasn't chosen. Hope he's not in somewhere. Mike Dunn, Roger Moret, a couple good lefties. Hector Santiago. Then they got I think it has Pablo Rodriguez from the Dodgers, 3 and 4, 2.32 ERA, and a Johnny Franco late in the draft. How about that? Looking for a guy to shut down lefties. He's a 5L, so that's good. So good, not bad team from Scranton. They got some heavy-duty hitters. We'll see if that translates well. Now let's go to the St. Paul Saints, representing the Minnesota Twin franchise. We'll take a look at them. We'll go ahead and look at the number pick in the draft. It was Al Simmons. So Al Simmons, 1930, 1.13 OPS, hit 381. Jim Edmonds, Manning, center field as a 1. Franklin Big Hurt Thomas, another lefty masher, 53, 141, 353, 94. He was a 2L. Then he got Reginald Martinez Jackson from the 69 A's. Albert, that is Adrian Beltre from the '04 Dodgers. Not a lot of people remember Beltre as a Dodger. Do you remember the year he had under 600 at-bats, 32 doubles, 48 homers, 121 ribbies, hit 334, 1 point OPS, 8.1 WAR, and he was a 5R, so he destroyed righties that season. Catcher, Michael Piazza from the 97 Dodgers. Cal Ripken at short, Jeff Kent at second, should be in the Hall of Fame. Ryan Howard, monster year for the Phillies at first base. So this team is just stoked. Tris Speaker, 600 at bat with his 10 home runs, 98 RBIs, hit 339 as a 1 center fielder. Jermaine Dye, Yogi Berra as a catcher is again a 2R, so we'll have to think about where he might get a more starting out of Piazza, you never know. Lou Whitaker, 23 home run year as a Tiger. Ducky Medwith, 374, 31, 154. Maglio Ordonez, 363, 28, and 139. He's a 3L. He's another lefty destroyer year. Boog Powell, Ernie Lombardi, Lucroy, and Tom Haller. First pitcher used Kid Nichols from the old Boston Red Sox. Then Mike Scott. Then the first reliever was the lefty from the Detroit Tigers, Willie Hernandez. That'll be Mario Soto. Tom Niedenflue from the Dodgers. Roger Clemens late in the draft. So you got Nichols, Scott, Soto, Clemens, and you got Jack Morris as an option. Tom Glavine, Chacin, probably wouldn't go that far. Mike Mussina could be an interesting starter. 222 positive innings. Corbin, Nova, so they got some nice starters they can go with. I have guys in more than once. I got to figure that one out. So now let's go to the Toledo Mudhens, captained by Maxwell Klinger. Let's take a look at that team. Their #1 draft pick was Duke Snyder. Then it was Roberto Alomar, Barry Larkin, and then I believe that's probably Chris Davis's 53 home run year. 2E6. Will that alarm you? That's a good first baseman. Troy Gloss, an excellent third baseman. Juan Gonzalez from the 93 Rangers. Rocky Calvito, excellent outfield, the -5 arm. And that'll be Carlton Fisk, Gary Sheffield, Nomar Garcia Parra. Yadier Molina, Jackie Robinson. That is Jim Hickman, Joe Torre, Babe Herman, George Sisler, a 407 hitter, lasted almost in the 15th, 16th round. Yes, they have first basemen, but do you let a 400 hitter sit that long? Then they got Cecil Cooper, Ted Simmons, and a couple catchers, Jim Sundberg and Bob Boone. Their #1 pitcher, that's right. The award was named after him, Cy Young. #1 bullpen guy for 2013 Red Sox in a sick year, O.G. O'Hara. Then you got Larry Durker, Joe Niekro, Craig Swan, and then you go Ron Darling. So the starters aren't deep. Hunji Ryu, Tom Browning, Stu Miller, I think that's Shannon Miller, I believe it is, Mike Leake, Andy Pettit. So they got some strong starters there. And some good hitters. That should be fun. Again, the teams have not been put together. Who's staying, who's going. And now let's go to the Boston Red Sox franchise, the Worcester Red Sox. Their #1 draft pick was Willie Mays. The second pick was Derek Jeter. That sounds funny. Ellis Burks, Rafael Palmeiro, Gabby Hartnett, the catcher, the Man Ram, Manny Ramirez, so he stays with Boston. Scotty Rowland, Eddie Collins, Paul O'Neill, boy, that's kind of interesting. Greg Nettles, boy, that's sick. 3 Yankees in the top 10 going to Red Sox franchise. Dustin Pedroia stays home. Gene Tennis, Orlando Cepeda, Tony Fernandez, Lefty O'Doul, Bill Terry, Eddie Murray, Tony Pena, Kent Herbeck, and Salvador Perez. #1 pitcher, the Doc Gooden with the 85 Mets. And then it will be, let's see, Warren Spahn, Justin Verlander, Steve Howe, Neil Kotz, Jim Lonborg stays in town, Jim Sambito, and let's see, who's here? Gio Gonzalez, Liriano of the 13 Pirates, Kyle Loesch of the 2013 Brewers. So they got some good options there. So that again actually a strong team. And we'll have to again take a look at options, people, and make sure who's here. But I'll have to do that again. Again, I kind of did it as a quick thing on the show tonight. Let's see, I'm hanging in. Thank you. Man, remember Beltray as a Dodger. What the heck happened? Yeah. I mean, you guys kept him. He played another, 15, 16 years. And imagine if you would have kept him there. He could have been, possibly the greatest third baseman in Dodger history. You never know. You got some options. You had to say and all that. But boy, if the Yeah, being a Dodger fan, D. Scott, can you imagine? Beltre had stayed there. I know he had a year with the Red Sox. He kind of was a kind of a whiff there, whiff here. Then he went to the Rangers, and it seems like he figured everything out, including being a great player. So, well, those are your 12 teams been invited, and we're going to take just a quick look and see what is left. We'll go ahead and do the Heroes Draft League. We'll do players. We'll do sort, and then we'll do a batters by war just to see and who is left. So the number one player in on the franchise is there? Okay, I don't think there's any more hitters. Hitters have been wasted, so there are no more hitters left, which is good. That's a good thing to have. Pitchers, I think there's a ton of pitchers still left. So we'll do pitchers by war and then do all pitchers there. And number one pitcher with a war is John Hiller from the 1973 Detroit Tigers. So they're looking for a lefty or something. Joe Kelly is still available. John Flaherty, Pedro Borbon, Larry Anderson, Bronson Arroyo, Tom Bergmeyer again didn't get a spot, but he's a 7L. So again, if you're looking for a lefty that might be able to get some outs, Dave Smith from the Houston Astros in 1987, good strong year. Just did not qualify for a team. Some good strong starting pitcher may still be sitting out there. So the team's looking for that. Then they got Rob Murphy, another one of those lefty guys. He was 3.04 ERA, 91 hits, 101 innings. So that's a long two reliever you can get. Sonny Gray, it was a young Sonny Gray in 2013. J.P. Howell, a lot of lefties. Darren O'Day, a nice little righty there to mix it up. He was a 9R, 2.18 ERA. Talking about a righty that can probably just get everybody out. Let's look at O'Day's card. Yeah, O'Day's card versus a righty is nasty. He only gives up a couple hits on there. Versus lefties, though, he gives up a bunch of home runs. That could be what you have to fear. You want to get him in and get him out if you have him. Adam Ottavino, how about that? 78 innings, 73 hits. He was a 7R. Can't hold anyone on base. He's a +7, but that doesn't come to play in the advanced game. Look at his card against righties. Pretty strong. Lefties, again, you want him in and out, probably in situational guys. Again, these guys will be available free agency in case there is an issue or they need somebody. I see some others like Jake Peavy, 145 innings, and that was one of his last legs. He probably could have made it in one of his other teams. Like I said, I think there's still some issues and we need to kind of iron out and see who goes where. But I think we have some fun here, guys. If you want to watch a strong league again, it's going to be three against the 3 games versus each team, home and away. So 6 times 11, so about a 66 game schedule. And we'll try to play as much as we can on the channel. Now we'll upload some games for you. And again, we could have did with a whole bunch of more teams, but I barely had enough hitters. And pitchers, I still had some good ones, but you're just kind of reaching what I had left on there. So I think we have a nice strong 12. If I wanted to, I probably could add a lot of more modern days. And I probably still miss some Hall of Famers probably too. So some guys are going to wonder why so-and-so did not make an active roster or why he's not here. Well, then if that's the case, then I'll drag him in later as a free agent to somebody. I'll roll a die and see where he goes. But otherwise, till then, I'll go ahead and create some quick modern lineups for everybody, and I'll create a rotation, rosters, probably a 14-11 split, and then we'll get a game on the channel. Maybe we'll get that going tomorrow, as this Major League Baseball Draft League has given you the draft right here on this channel. So Barry Bonds goes to the Durham Bulls, if I am correct here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do that back. For those who want to learn more about the game, let me know. I can try to do a video on how to do certain aspects, but I saw Uncle Dave Gardner do a little bit of a hockey draft. This is kind of around the same aspect with all the talent that can be drafted. It's just sick what you can do Whoops, and I just lost my screen. That's something you have to be careful about that. And I just lost it. So I guess we better reshare again here. So let's reshare again. So where is my baseball right here? Hopefully it's saved everything. And 15 minutes in, we're about ready to kill things. Hopefully, I thought I'd hopefully have some more people coming and banging in here tonight watching. And we'll do this. Here we go. We'll set that up well. And then we'll do window there, do that there, real quick. Just get it back up for a second. So give me 1 second. If not, we'll just probably kill it from here, guys. Hang on 1 second. Oh, what do I have to do? I think I got the screen up or something. So let's say that. Yeah, I probably have to the screen up or something. Right there. Sorry, folks. Give me 1 second. Why is not sharing? Well, there it is. There's the screen. Let's see if that pulls up here as we're waiting for that to come up. And we're back. All right. So we got the game screen back up here again. Any questions, concerns, let me know. A lot of people are liking my different leagues I've had. Again, I do have everything from 1968 on. 1969 forward is mostly in full SADV, whatever STRAT does give me. Yes, a lot of pain, a lot of effort getting everything, but I played in a lot of different little leagues before, and it's good to have it. I do have the latest 2020 F version. There is a 2021 that was out, but again, I'm going to wait till 2022 and skip the pandemic kind of small season and have the next new full season with Otani and them like that. So there we go. 2000 was a 2015. I call it my Heroes Draft League, as I drafted all your heroes of Major League Baseball, the 12 minor league franchises: the Buffalo Bisons, the Durham Bulls, the Gwinnett Stripers, the Indianapolis Indians, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, Lehigh Iron Pigs, Nashville Sounds, Omaha Storm Tracers, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, the St. Paul Saints, the Toledo Mud Hens, and of course the Worcester Red Sox. So those are the top 12 teams will be used for this. 40 guys on each team. May have to make some alterations and some other decisions I have to make, I think, on these teams. But when I get that all ironed out and I have all the lineups and all the rotations set, you'll see opening pitch of the first game of this season. And it will be, again, we'll show you the first game highlights again, what it will be. Again, Monday, April 5th. It will be Durham at Gwinnett. It will be Jacksonville at Worcester. Omaha at Nashville. Lehigh at Toledo. Indianapolis at Scranton. And St. Paul at Buffalo. May take a one die. Throw it and see which game is televised first. But I'll go ahead and get the rosters all set up, all tweaked out. Send some guys down to the minors and send my rotations and lineups going. And then we'll have first pitch of this World League. So thank you, folks. D. Scott Howard, thank you you'll get a medal for staying here with me today. I appreciate that as always. John Wise, I think I piqued his interest, or I think I may have just piqued his interest with all the different leagues I have. But either way, I appreciate those who watch what I have gotten over the years. But this has been a MLB draft that we did, so putting all the greatest players on the team. So hopefully we'll see you all for some more baseball. Try to make this one of my pet projects that I'll be having on a regular basis. Notice that sometimes the computer games do get good views, so we'll do from there. So D. Scott, thank you for being here. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you from the way out west in Washington. So have a good night. I'll see you again, and we'll see you all soon.